There is about 5 days left in Season 18's standard ranked mode for Master Duel, but since we were able to grind a little bit this weekend, you can see that we have tore it up, absolutely devastating the competition here. Our last loss was last weekend, that's how little we've played, but we've gone on a 13 win streak from Platinum 1 into Diamond 4, carrying over an 8 win streak in Platinum to a 5 win streak in Diamond, using, of course, Floowandereeze here. The deck list remains unchanged from the one I was using earlier, which I will link in the description, the deck list video that is. But yeah, I've been focusing on the festivals and just them adding the extra ranked mode, like an extra, whatever, like 25 wins that you need without taking too many losses. Like the net plus minus has to be +5. It's actually a lot of matches, and I just didn't know if it was worth going for because I just came back from vacation and there was a lot of work to do, both at home and at work, and just a lot of other stuff that I need to just do. And then of course, you know, these 2 festivals, focusing on those to just get the gems there. Left a little time for me to really think about if I really wanted to go for ranked, but I think at the very least I'll be able to grind to Diamond 1, and from there, you know, depending on how much time is left, I might try to push for Master 1. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into these videos because I'm sure some of you have been waiting for that Floowandereeze gameplay. This is why Konami had to limit Empin in the next ban list on June 30th, because this deck absolutely destroys Bystials and Branded. Our opening hand is actually a brick right now. The opponent is going to Branded Fusion, and we are going to chain Dimension Shifter. Again, Dimension Shifter is actually very, very impactful against Branded. They do need their graveyard. So we're going to see them actually search for Albion off of the Mercurier here. And then they're going to normal summon Aluber to grab Branded Beast, actually, which is quite interesting. They're going to set Branded Beast, most likely, and then summon Magnamut. So, you know, that's pretty good because they're able to target the Shifter and get a Druid Swarm, it looks like, during the end phase. So they got 4 materials on board. We're just hoping that we can unbrick our hand, and we draw Pot of Prosperity. So we're going to go ahead and activate that. The opponent's field did light up, but, you know, they do have a Branded Beast here, which likely was their interruption, but they're not just going to flip it face up for no reason. They could pop the Pot of Prosperity by sacking their Magnamut, but why would they ever do that, right? So we just need any bird to turn on our map here, pretty much, except for Stree, because Stree would not unbrick our hand because there's nothing in to target. Stree would be able to banish Robina and then summon Fizzle, but bring back Robina and then Robina normal summon for turn. So that would be the only thing. But we do get the best bird in Eaglin because this can ensure that we get our name to hand, our level 7 and higher beast, but winged beast. But we don't need it because we already have Empin and Apex in hand. So yeah, we don't need to chain block this. We actually need to chain block the Robina. Nonetheless, though, we're going to enter battle and then use Evenly Matched. The opponent thought for a good like 30-60 seconds or whatever, and they opt to banish all their monsters, keeping the Branded Beast, probably because it's a one of. But if they think that they're going to let that we're going to let that stay on the field, they are mistaken. So now we're going to go ahead and activate map reveal Eaglin, banish Robina, summon Eaglin, grab back Robina. Oh, Floowandereeze with a 55% win rate. Okay, we're going to search for the second Empin, and you know, what I'm about to do here would not be possible without the second Empin, and you're going to see why this play is just so much stronger with 2 Empins rather than 1. Yes, the deck is obviously playable with 1 Empin, but you lose a significant amount of your like gas for your engine and setting up advanced plays like what you're going to see here, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and summon Empin. So our Robina is going to stay banished since we banished it with map and brought it back already. So we're going to search Toucan with the Robina, and then, you know, we have Eaglin back in hand. We're actually going to search for Unexplored Winds first, and then use Unexplored Winds, normal summon Toucan, target the Robina, and then we're going to out the opponent's Branded Beast. This card is a problem for this deck. This is like the only card in the new package that's a problem. Why? Because quick effect, basically, right? It's a trap card, tribute a Bystial, and then pop any card they want. You know, popping our map is a huge problem for us. So I have to get rid of this, and this is what the second Empin allows me to do, because next turn they're no longer under Shifter. They probably have like Lubellion or something in hand. They send Lubellion, their Bystial is live. If this Branded Beast is still on the field, they could easily pop our map, which gets rid of our interruption or any other card that they want, right? So yeah, again, this stuff is pretty strong in order to make sure that you set up properly and you out all of the opponent's resources. So yeah, we've cleared the board. They've got 4 cards in hands. We know 2 of them. One is an Albion, one is a Bystial Druid Worm. Main phase 1, they're going to reveal Lubellion, so we're going to know 3 cards in their hand. We got Soranir, Druid Worm, and Albion. Foolish Burial, okay, they only have 1 mystery card now. The Sending of the Tragedy here will trigger. What are they going to dump off this? Or sorry, grab off this. They're going to grab Alubert, normal summon Alubert, search for... Okay, well, we're going to get our interruption off first. They're going to search for Branded in red. We're going to normal summon Robina. And right now, there's no point in searching for Stree, because most of you would probably search for Stree here, right? Get all 4 birds in rotation. But if I summon Stree and try to target one of these cards, they fizzle my Stree with a Bystial, right? So it's not worth it. I'm going to actually search for DD Crow since they search Branded in red. That tells me that, you know, if they try to brand it in red, this Tragedy, I just DD Crow it and interrupt that. So we're going to also go ahead and bring the Apex to field by getting rid of the Alubert. Now this is not ideal because it puts 2 materials for targets for Branded in red. They're going to then dump Retribution off Albion to draw. So we know Branded in red, Druid Worm, and Soronir. It's important to keep track of what the opponent has. They have 2 mystery cards. They set 1, which is likely the Branded in red pass. They know they have the 2 Bystials and then 2 mystery cards, right? We have the Apex Omni Negate, which is good. We actually draw into Fissure, and you might think again, why don't I just activate this Fissure right away? That's not the correct play. You need to keep your DD Crow live. If you activate Fissure, your DD Crow cannot pay the cost to send to graveyard, so therefore you cannot interrupt the Branded in red. So I need to interrupt that Branded in red, ideally not with my Apex. So we want to not activate Fissure. There's nothing significant here that we need to ensure that it gets banished from monsters right now, so we're totally fine letting this go through. We're going to activate Map. The opponent changed Soronir, banishing Tragedy. Tragedy cannot target, or opts not to target, sorry, the branded card to bring back to hand. Or actually, can it even do that because it was banished for cost? I don't know. Maybe not, right? Anyways, we are going to normal summon the Eaglin and chain block it with the Robina. And then off of this here, we are going to search the last target in our deck in the Ryza. The other thing about Empen going to 1, right, this card allows you to continue summoning, whereas if you replace it with something like Snowl, once you summon Snowl, that's it. You can't continue to summon, right? So using Snowl on your opponent's turn isn't the greatest because it ends your summoning. You're not going to use the effect of normal summon 3 times during your opponent's turn, right? So keep that in mind. And also, obviously, Snowl doesn't have the spell and trap search, which is mainly what you need Empen for, right? With this setup, I'm able to get my Unexplored Winds in rotation. I'm able to get my Map in rotation, or Dreaming Town in rotation. Like, Empen is just too good in this deck because it's a huge resource piece. So, off of the Ryza here, I'm actually going to target the last Branded in red target in their graveyard to force them to use Branded in red here. I'm also going to spin the Soronir to the top of their deck, so they're going to have a dead draw next turn. And I wanted to force this, right? So now what I'm going to do is use that DD Crow, banish the Alubert. Now they're Branded in red fizzles. This is another problem card for this deck. We do not want them to Chimera. Chimera will pop Map most likely, and you know, whatever else, it's a problem. So now that we've used the DD Crow, now we can activate Fissure. We've cleared the opponent's board once again. We know that they're not like technically going to be KO'd because they have a Druid Worm that they can banish the Magnamut or the Lubellion for now. But we made a misplay because we got rid of the Empen, right, when we tributed for Ryza. It's in the graveyard. We need to Stree, banish it, and then 2 can bring it back. We don't have enough spaces on field to do that. So I should have actually tributed the Empen and the Eaglin so I can open up those spaces. So I made a huge misplay there. I'm still going to be able to like go for game though. Like I can just summon Ryza and just leave it on field, no effects. But the opponent opts to try to activate Retribution, and I'm like, perfect, because I can return Apex to hand now. They probably think that this is a good idea to bait the Apex so that they can bring Druid Worm to field. But yeah, that opens up the field for us to Stree, banish Empen, and then 2 can bring back Empen, double tribute, bring out Empen, double tribute, bring out Apex again, negate the Bystial. They're going to draw Bystial with no targets, and then that's just game, right? They're going to actually Ash, though, the Robina, so our plan is foiled. However, we still have Trap cards, so we can just activate Trap, continue normal summoning. We just don't get the Stree in rotation. We probably, well, I can't show it now, but we probably normal summon 2 can target the Advent, and then just bring out Apex again. We're just in too much of an advantageous position, and the opponent ends up just scooping once I think they realized that we had Trap cards still to activate. So GG to that opponent, and that was our 13th win in a row in Diamond. So unfortunately, I haven't saved any of those matches because they're like over a week old and stuff, but I'll play for you what I can. In this match, we are going second. Our opening hand is half decent. The D-Fissure works wonders against the branded decks. You can see this guy is wasting a lot of resources just to bring out a Garua, and yeah, he just ends up surrendering. This is what Diamond gameplay is? Like, what is this? So after that last match, we were on a 2-win streak because I actually played one game of Diamond like on the Friday night or something, and I won it. So obviously if I'm on a 12-win streak. In this match though, we are going first, and I took a risk here using the Extravagance first to try to bait out an Ash and hoping that I draw into a bird, knowing that if I use the Extravagance and it doesn't get negated, I can't use the Prosperity. Thankfully, we draw into Robina. And also a Duality, which netted us a Book of Moon because we already had the other 2 cards, I believe. And then from this, we're actually going to be able to go full rotation, and you're going to see off Empin, we're actually going to search Advent because we want to banish the Empin so that we can search for map, and that way the Empin is banished so it can be targeted by Toucan, and we also get map to hand. So you don't want to bring map to hand directly, otherwise you won't have a valid target for Toucan, and you actually want the Empin to be resummoned so you can search for trap card. The opponent kind of realizes what's up, and they just end up surrendering, and that was an easy W before we even finished our first turn. Alright, so in this next matchup here, which this was our rank up game to get into Diamond 4, the opponent is going first, and another Bystial, probably branded deck most likely. People love playing this deck. Oh, this guy's going to get full combo. Yeah, they actually, you know, my field was lighting up obviously because of the DD Crow, and they waited for a second before they decided to activate Branded Fusion, but they ended up going for it, and sure enough, you know, we don't play Ash, so they end up resolving that. They're going to continue to go ahead. Funny enough, they go for a Rinbrum in order to banish the Mercurier well, they send Mercurier, then banish it for Sornier. They get the effects, and they're doing some really weird plays here. You know, this is like very suboptimal in my opinion. You know, no offense to the opposing player. I mean, you're learning and you're going through some unique combos here, I guess. But yeah, it's just very, very odd. So on the branded in white, this is when we decide to DD Crow, and the reason why I waited so long is because I wanted to force a misplay from them. So with branded in white, no doubt they're going to try to banish the Albaz as material to fuse with, and if I disrupt that and banish it for the opponent, that means they're going to be forced to use materials in hand and field, which will likely mess up their whatever end board they're trying to go for, right? So this would have severely thrown a wrench in the opponent's plan. Most likely they would have been forced to go into like Dragostapelia or Masquerade, and then we just Book a Moon it so we can play around it, right? Unfortunately, they have a second Mercurier, which means that we are negated, and they will be able to resolve the branded in white to go into most likely Lubellion, yep, and then, or they could have gone into Albion. But yeah, I mean, the strongest play is to get your Lubellion live. So you probably want Albion here, and then, I don't know, you have to banish your Fusion, or you can't banish, yeah, well, you're screwed because you can't, you've already banished your Albaz, so you can't use Albaz to make Mirror Jade off of Albion, but then Albion on the field will allow you to get back your Lubellion, because Lubellion has to tribute a dark, level 6 or higher dark monster. This is a spellcaster and it's light. This is a dark, but it's a winged beast. So the only thing you can really put up now, unless you have another Bystial, is Albion. So they don't go for that. They're just going to go for the standard Mirror Jade play, dumping Albion so that they still get the Search and the Cartesia play. So the only thing we really have to worry about there was the set branded in red going into what do you call it, Guardian Chimera. But for some reason the opponent surrenders, probably realizing that they messed up. And I mean, our hands, we'd have to try to unbrick off the draw and the Part of Extravagance, which we could hopefully do. And then the Stree will put in work against Branded for sure, banishing some of their necessary materials. And hopefully if we can get a second bird that isn't a Toucan, we can continue to play. But overall, you know, it is what it is, and that's a GG.